Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of Rim Shots with Sean right here on the Rock Rage Radio Network. And happy to introduce a gentleman talking to a little bit, just met 30 seconds ago, the one, the only Mr. Mad Chad. How are you?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm fantastic, man. I'm waiting for my world to end according to every pun weather person here in Nova Scotia, but we'll get through it. Thank you for doing this, my friend. And are you ready for the holidays?
Heck yeah, man. I love Christmas. What about
Yeah.
you?
Uh, I don't mind it, I guess. My kids are grown, so I don't have to worry about that. It's a slower time, I guess. It's pretty fun, so looking forward to it.
Right on.
Um, you reside where, my friend?
Lubbock, Texas.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about Lubbock, Texas. I've interviewed a bunch of people from Texas. I get all kinds of different sorts of feedback on what the scene is like. Tell me a little bit about where you are.
So Lubbock, like historically, is where Buddy Holly is from. That's kind of a place to put it. But it's like if you look at Texas on the Panhandle Square on the top rectangle, we're right in the center of that.
Okay.
And so we have a great like scene of music. There's all kinds of stuff from obviously metal, like I do, to blues, rock, country, just a lot of great stuff that is there. Very lively city for music.
So anytime I interview somebody, I always like to have them tell my audience exactly what it is that they do because I find some interviewers try to be cheeky and then sometimes they make mistakes and they don't get it right. So I feel it's better to hear from the person that's being interviewed to tell the audience exactly what it is that you do. So without further ado,
I'm the artist Mad Chad. I play heavy metal and hard rock. I'm a teacher as well. I teach and play guitar is my main instrument. I sing, I scream, I play drums, I play bass, and I play piano. And I it's my life, and my livelihood is to make music. And I spend my day every day either teaching people music constantly, or creating, or playing, or performing. It is why I'm here on this earth.
okay, so um, you can make a living at music, correct?
Yes.
Going to be a bit of work.
Yep.
Work hard, work smart.
Yep.
So if and I make a living at music, I'm a drummer myself, and you're the type of guy that I love because I can barely master my own instrument, and you play a bunch. So thank you for that. But,
Sorry.
yeah, right. Don't apologize for me being maybe lazy and you being gifted. But anyway, well, that's maybe a story for another day. Um, so somebody wants to get in the business, they want to make money off music. What advice would you give them?
Oh man. So I would say this for sure. Like being a musician is not necessarily about putting all your eggs in one basket. Every musician's got a little gestalt of, some way of a form of income. It could be from their record sales. It could be from teaching lessons. It could be from selling merchandise. It could be from ticket sales, merch sales. There's all kinds of ways that all kind of generate it all. So what I would say for anybody is this: find where you are personally as a musician. Are you an educator? Is that something that you're passionate about? And if you like it, pursue maybe a day that you teach. You teach with like 4 or 5 students, make some extra, sell some extra things, but also find out who you are as a person and find out who you want to be as an artist and try to market that. You
Love
know,
it. Love it. That little bit of play on words there. I don't know if you picked up on that, but and I want to get to your music in a second. But one of the things that I want to ask you, because this comes up a lot on my podcast, and that is the topic of networking. And most of the people that are successful as music, well, in life, let's face it, but as musicians, tend to have a very good network. And then the other thing that they do is they don't prejudge opportunities. They look at an opportunity holistically and go, okay, that's something that I could do well and maybe make myself some money at. Do you approach it the same way?
you know, it's it's all about like if I'm trying to make a project or some sort of it could be a song that's due for like a Mad Chad song, or it could be something I'm licensing for a TV show or something. But I think of it as, first of all, what am I feeling? What is the art? What does it need to be put into life? Put it into life. That could be the emotions, the theory, and all that stuff that goes with it to make the song proper. But then once that's established and the art is, becoming what it is, you put it together like you said, like as an artist, like what is your sound, what are you encompassing with your dream and your vision and your what you're saying, And so I try to put it all together in one with the emotion, music, and the purpose of the song and the song seed that it starts with.
And I want to get to your music here. One of the things I always say this, I hate to do it, but because you're dealing with people that sometimes don't necessarily go out to look for new music, and I think I call it, maybe that's a Spotify streaming thing. Some people say I discover new music on there, but I find other people just go what they're looking for. If you were to do a comparable of who Mad Chad is versus what's out in the marketplace so that my listeners would go, oh, I want to go check that guy out, what would you be? Who would you be?
Oh man, I've been told a few times that sometimes I sound like Rob Zombie.
Oh,
So
nice.
just I guess it's maybe my vocal inflections and my screams. My guitar stuff, I would say falls like close to metalcore kind of and metal. It's like a cross between like maybe some Kill Switch Engage kind of sounds all the way to like old school Metallica, Pantera, and even Van Halen and kind of those kinds of sounds there. But then uh, it has some other textures too in there. But I guess that kind of encompasses a little bit.
And certainly, anybody that I think instantly, you say Kill Switch Engage, and it's funny because I was interviewing somebody else the other day, and the second I hear that band reference, I know exactly what I'm going to get. And I wouldn't say I was initially a fan of that band, then I get into them a little bit, and I mean, grindcore, I guess, is what the genre they go by, but energetic chops, get you moving, get you kind of gets the blood flowing. So if we're going to go to one of your shows, I'm taking if that's what we're going to get and see.
Yeah, it's I like the high energy. Let's put it that way. I like to move around. I like to play, and like it's just like I'm a pretty busy person. I got a lot of movement in my life. I can't sit still, so
Yeah, yeah.
my music kind of comes out that way too. Woo!
So in terms of shows and in terms of, I mean, because it's hard to believe, man. Like I'm looking at my calendar here, and we got a few days left, and it's going to be the end of 2024. Um, I talked to a bunch of people, and it was one of the best and worst years for a lot of people, and I could throw myself in that pile. But how was your year, and what do you have coming up to look forward to for 2025?
So 2024 was really for me as Mad Chad was really pretty good. I had a lot of good with the Right is Right release this fall. A lot of good attention. Thank you for everybody who checked it out and who's currently checking it out. I'm very thankful for that. It's been very good to kind of stir the waters a little bit with it, and it's it was a very passionate, right for me to make, and obviously I had something to say. And then coming up in 2025 in March, I'm releasing my new record. It's called Scorpio Thoughts, and it's going to be, in my opinion, like some of the best stuff I've come up with thus far. It's a really good good listen all the way through. The record has a lot of fantastic material, and again, I'm doing all the instrumentation, and I'm just so ready to release it. I cannot wait to show the public that coming down the tube. I'm super proud of it.
And I was going to ask if you were playing all the instruments because I mean the question that I had that you answered that for me. But when you take it live, obviously you can't play everything, so you have to bring players in. Is
Yeah.
it always the same players that you bring in? Do they not like to be able to, do they maybe, not like the fact that they're not on the recordings? How does that work as a band? I mean, you can do whatever you want. It's your band, right? But how does that work for
Yeah.
you?
That's a great question. So sometimes, like, I try to keep it with like kind of a group of people that are consistent. I like to play with so that we all have a chance to kind of alternate a little bit if needed, and if somebody can't schedule one or the other. But and just to be as a musician, prepared just in case someone gets sick or whatever. You're able to have an extra musician step in. But the way it works is this. So like lots of times. It depends on who's going to play with you. If they wrote it with you and you rehearsed in the studio together and you guys wrote the drums, they would play the drums and you play the guitar and they record. Of course, you want them to play it live because they have that touch and they made it. It's their instrument. But like with the Mad Chat instrumentation, that was a product of which my own of years of teaching and having the luxury of practicing all the time. I just got to where I would have these ideas in my head for drums or something, and I would try to tell a drummer, and I couldn't quite correlate it the way I wanted to, so I would just do it myself.
Right.
I just get like doing it myself, but yeah, that's I would say live again, just making sure I have a few people that are trained. And some people are really pretty cool with it. I've got a couple of my friends that's what they want to do when they go is they're like, dude, I just want to play bass live. I don't care about recording. Like, this is so fun for me. And so, but it doesn't mean that in the future, like if there wasn't some other opportunity for another drummer or somebody to step in on a recording, that I wouldn't, look at that opportunity if it was the right one.
Well, let's face it, it's everybody's not cut out for it as much as they might like to think they are. I mean, I worked I did a bunch of projects this year, but one of the coolest ones was one that I played about 45 seconds on, and it was a project where somebody had called me and said their drummer was having a hard time with a certain part of the song, and I listened to the tune and was killing it, and I could hear where the trouble was. I literally played 45 seconds, and that was it. Um, but it was like one of my favorite things because I was able to kind of see what that person was doing and replicate and to have the same feel. But not everybody's cut out for it, and there's no shame in not being able to do it, right?
No, absolutely. And see, but every musician, has their strengths and their weaknesses, and we all, you might be the most phenomenal fast, player for some technique, but we might struggle with reading something on paper, and a person who can read something on paper might struggle with playing fast.
Right.
But it's always that way, and that's the beautiful thing about being musicians, is we're never satisfied, right? We always work.
Absolutely. And if you're wondering, my strengths are super fast overplay, double kick, haha, whatever. And yeah, and weaknesses, I don't like Steely Dan, but other than that, I'm fine.
Crazy
Um,
question on your drumming. Do you do on your double bass technique? Are you doing heel toe, toe down, heel down, or do you do the side wiggle? What do you do?
so on my main foot, I do it's almost a Steve Gadd swivel thing. A lot of the faster stuff I do heel down, a lot of the more powerful stuff. I used to be a total heel down guy, and then one of the very first soundmen that I worked with gave me hell because he's like, "You're not hitting it hard enough. You're not hitting it." And so I literally learned how to play heel up in about a weekend.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of, I guess, what serves it. When I play double kick, it's heel up for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
And I started getting into that swivel stuff that the fast guys are doing, which I get I get how it works. But one of the things I've been hearing is that as you do it longer, it actually brings up your hips and stuff like that. So I don't need any more help doing that, man. So,
Right
uh,
on.
so I want to ask you a question. I don't typically do this, but I deal with I think now I'm dealing with about 11 or 12 for PR people. And Gina's one of my favorite. I do a lot of work with Gina. Um, maybe not Gina specifically, although definitely give her a shout out. But I get a lot of people that ask me, am I to the point where I should be dealing with a PR person or whatever? And what advice would you give to somebody there?
Oh man, yes, you should. When you reach, I guess as an artist, like you kind of reach a point where I think you know that you can't do anything else yourself. Like
Right.
you've kind of maxed out your mental abilities of what it is you're trying to achieve with, releasing material or getting it to whoever. And what's cool about it is this, and I think people should understand this about someone like that, is it's not necessarily that if you pay somebody to do that, that they're going to like log on to your Facebook and like post shit for you. Like what they're going to do is they're going to be a very awesome, like, coach, advisor, and person who says, what you should do. Like, hey, listen, you need to go post here and here and here on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and you got to say these things. You got to make sure that, it's just, it's an excellent way, even if you are clear on those things, to just have someone you trust over your shoulder to go, hey, don't forget, do this. And it makes a big difference when you're really busy.
It's a great point because in this world of DIY and everybody thinks they can do it themselves and stuff. I find with musicians, if they don't do it a lot, it's the managing of their time to get everything done. And so a lot of things, you're getting your social media done, but you're not getting your practicing done. You're getting your practicing done, but you're not getting your so and so it's almost like, oh, if I bring somebody in and pay them, the whole why pay somebody to do something you can do yourself. But people don't understand the time commitment it takes to do this.
No, they really don't. And like in my other band, I have luxury of other members. That's Texas 223 is the name of that band. But like in Mad Chad, I'm everything. I'm the artist, the writer, the producer, the instrumentalist, and I am the person releasing everything. So yeah, you're right. Spreading your time out is difficult. And I love how you said I'm not practicing enough because I'm over on social media posting and like that. I mean, you just named like I feel like the day of what it is to be an artist these days. It's so difficult to decide which ones you should do. But again, it's about that weird balance of trying to make sure that you do it. Because if you don't, you don't survive.
No, and I know this just because what tends to I see happen is somebody goes, oh well, because I kind of have this. I get an ADD streak to me, and I kind of, I'm the guy that'll be like, I have my set of car keys, and I put them down, and I go to my car, and they're still on the table, and it only happened within 10 seconds. So people kind of see me conduct my affairs, and they go, well, Sean can do it, anybody can do it, or I can do it. But the thing is, there's certain parts of the way that I work that I actually do focus and pay attention, and so people don't realize that it isn't, oh, I'll do a little bit of this one day and a little bit of this. It's literally your entire day going, right?
Yep.
Okay, but man, we got to get you out of here. I know you get some stuff on the go. So, last question: where can my viewers, my listeners, everything find more about Mad Chad?
So you saying where to go? Is that what you said?
Where do we find out more about
Oh
you?
yeah. So you can go to www.madchad.com. I try to keep that updated pretty often. Once or twice a week, there's a blog there of information, and I try to just keep like current things that are going on, any sort of news stories or anything that happen, interviews and whatnot, releases, all that's there. Of course, you can find me on all the socials, Mad Chad Music on Facebook, Twitter, or X, I guess what it's called now, TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff. And you can anytime just Google Mad Chad Music or Mad Chad Metal, and you can find pretty much anything that I'm doing.
I want to thank you for doing this, my friend, and have a great holiday. I'm sure we will. We'll stay in touch because, like I say, Gene and I deal with her all the time, and I look forward to seeing what you're up to in 2025.
Yes, I appreciate you taking the time, man. Have a great one.
Back on the Rock Rage Radio Network after this.